Welcome to the Princess Experience, and it would appear that spring has well and truly sprung for us down in Plymouth. We're here at Newport Street, our headquarters, and just over the other side of the creek is the origins of Princess Yachts, dating all the way back to 1965. We find ourselves standing alongside the extraordinary F62, and in this episode both Ross and Gareth are going to take us through that product in quite some detail. We're also going to head over to Salcombe to join our drinks partner Salcombe Gin, where we're going to talk a little bit about the favourite tipple of many a Princess owner. So let's head over to Ross and jump straight on to the F62.
So welcome to the Princess F62. This is the mid-range in our Princess Flybridge boats, and we're going to give you a run through today. Access is via a hydraulic bathing platform, which today is housing a Williams jet rib, which is nice to see. That will lift up to 430 kilos. You can go up either side. One side you've got access to the crew cabin. The left-hand side is your main access, and that can continue straight on up to the Flybridge should you want. And from the cockpit, you come straight into what is the heart of the boat. With all these windows opened up is the galley and sort of bar area. Fully functioning galley, which is opposite a nice dinette layout. Good seating area, twin stools can go here as well, and then you have the fold-out tables. It can either be like a coffee table or your main eating area. Forward up into a vast saloon. Now that's a big seating area on that side, flooded with the light from those big windows, and really highlighted by this beautiful light fabric this particular owner has chosen. Twin seater on this side with plenty of storage underneath and pull-out drawers. And then either side of that we also have either more storage, or on this boat you've got a wine cooler and a fridge. The pop-up TVs behind that. Nice seating area here, looking forward so your guests can enjoy the view when you're running the boat, with plenty of air from that drop-down window. And then into the business end, the helm position. So you've got navigator and a helmsman, fully glass bridge here with engine instrumentation on its own screen, throttles, thrusters, and of course the pop-out door, which gives you great access up onto that foredeck and gives you be able to give instructions to the crew should you need to.
Coming up on this episode, we continue our tour of the F62, where Russ will take us below deck and then onto the Flybridge. We get technical with Gareth in the engine room. We meet the emergency doctors taking on the world's toughest rowing challenge, and get to know a little bit more about our new partners at the Salcombe Distilling Company. But first, let's join Bill Barrow on a tour of Newport Street.
Welcome to Newport Street. This really is the epicenter of Princess. It's our oldest site. It's one of two waterborne sites. Virtually everything that we manufacture and is built around the Plymouth area comes to this site, goes to water. We've got two hoist bays here capable of lifting up to 165 tons. We build about 6 boats in our model range. It's a fantastic and really interesting site to walk through. So from there on, let's walk through the site and have a look at what we're manufacturing, what we're making, what we're commissioning and what we're dispatching. Okay, so welcome to Unit 3. This is a really exciting unit. We're building here the new Y72, real groundbreaking model. We have 3 in build here at any one time. Slot 1 is gone to the customer. As I say, built on a rolling line, very much like we've seen up in Langage. They'll move about every 15 to 18 days. The boat that you can see in front of us is going through what we describe as pre-build. So she's having the plumbing, the wiring, the holes through the bottom, the thrusters, the stabilizers, all that type of equipment going into process. At the moment we're just lining her, so you can see the water lines going on, just making sure she's level for assembly. Once we reach stage 3, we're a long way down the line. So majority of the lower accommodation is finished. All the plumbing, all the wiring, all the lower deck detail is done. Engine room is now progressing. So on the engine room, we're into shafts, we're into first engine fit, we're into exhaust systems and cooling systems. Looks a long way away, but reality of it, it's not that far off. From here, the next stage will be to put the top on. So to put the fly on, the detail on, and start the main deck furniture. But there's one really important secret about Unit 3, because behind it is our design studio. Andy Lawrence, our head of design, and around about 100 people produced the very best, the most fantastic futuristic designs that you're going to see over the next 5 years. So this is Unit 10. As you can see, in this unit we're building our bigger range of products in Newport Street. We're building the Y72, so we've seen the pre-build of Y72. We're finishing off here, putting hard tops on, coach roofs on. We're building the Y78 and the F78. You can see the row of them racked up here. These are all static build. This unit is only static build, no rolling lines. The boats are physically too big to move around. In front of them is all basically the hardware that's going to go into the boat. So all the furniture that we've seen in manufacture in Koipul, which is about 7 miles away from here, delivered down, ready to go to assembly. Now from here, next door, we walk into the 85 shop, and we have 4 85s in build at any one time. Again, very similar to what we've seen next door. All the components, all the parts coming down from Koipul, being assembled here on site. Once the boat's finished, she's picked up, she's moved directly to the hoist bay, which is next door to us, straight to water, straight into test. Very compact manufacturing. So here we are at the hoist bay. This is our biggest hoist bay in Newport Street. We have 2. This lift here will cope with up to 165 tons, and we have a smaller lift at 65. These hoists will lift absolutely everything that we manufacture. That's here at Newport Street, that's at a Langage, or that's at a Lee Mill. So everything will go to water here. Vital part of Princess quality is its sea time, and we will put anywhere between 5 and 25 hours on a boat just to ensure it is absolutely perfect for the end user. We'll also bring the boats back here after trial is complete. We'll detail, we'll finish, we'll just get that final bit of perfection. But it is a final part of the journey from order to final handover to the retail customer. So as we can see, we've got a 62, we've got a 55. 62 is built here on this site. 55 comes from Langage, which we've looked at a little earlier on. And beyond it, the shed with the red door is where we started in 1965. Fantastic success story. You know, we had one guy, or 2 guys, building one boat over there in 65, and here we are today in Newport Street. 7 different sites, 3,300 people, building boats which literally go all over the world to our distributorships and obviously to their owners. Fantastic history, a fantastic piece of success for Plymouth.
So welcome to the low accommodation on the F62. The F62 is a 3-cabin, 3-bathroom layout, or 3-head layout, and you find us in the master. Now, beautifully appointed, big double bed right on the centre line with plenty of storage underneath it. Behind me is the breakfast table. This can use obviously as a workstation should you want to. Or indeed, we can do various other options, such as a side unit or even a settee. If it is a side unit, it will mirror what we have on the opposite side. So that's the beautifully leather-topped section there with a vanity underneath there. The master cabin features twin hanging wardrobes, full height. Of course, you can have a TV in here, and it's also where we house the washer dryer and washing machine. Ensuite facility behind a pocket door, and then you step forward into a beautifully bathed lower foyer. So the bridge windows let in lots of light down there. Starboard side, we have the twin cabin. Twin cabin bunks can, if you want to, slide together to form a double, and then of course that cabin is fully en suite. Stepping forward into the bow section, you have another very similar to this cabin actually in terms of style and layout, double berth. Again on the centre line, beautiful knife edge windows come to their conclusion, and of course that cabin is fully en suite as well. The F62 has been very popular for us, and I think you can see why. You know, each cabin is lovely appointed, plenty of space, and if you would like to have a bit more detail, please look at our other social medias where I've gone through the boat in a bit more detail.
So now we're in the Princess Lab, and we're joined by Charlie Fleury and Adam Baker. And Charlie and Adam, welcome to the Princess Experience.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
So you guys have such an extraordinary story to tell, whether it's what you do in your everyday life or your ambitions and what you're about to do as a challenge. Do you want to start by telling the viewers just a little bit about yourselves?
Yeah, so we are both emergency medicine doctors. So that means that we work in A&E. Myself, I'm based at Exeter, and Adam's based at Derriford Hospital in Plymouth. We, outside of our job, are training to take part in the Talisker Whisky Atlantic Challenge, which is a 3,000-mile ocean row from the Canary Islands all the way to Antigua this December.
Wow, that's incredible. 3,000. That's an extraordinary feat. Have you done anything like this before?
So neither Charlie and I have ever rowed before, so it's a slightly unusual experience when we had our first training session on the water. I think we'd both maybe culminated in about 20 minutes on an erg in a gym, perhaps over the last few years. So it wasn't necessarily the obvious choice, but we both love the water. Charlie's spent a lot of time doing sailing, and given that we live around the Devon coast, we've always kind of been out exploring on paddle boards and swimming. So we're used to and love the water, but rowing is definitely going to be new to us.
So tell us a little bit about why this and why now. What got you here?
I think our family think we're a bit crazy, but the dream started because we both undertook a master's in extreme medicine run by World Extreme Medicine. And extreme medicine is, as it says on the tin, so medicine out of the hospital environment in extreme environments. And I thought, you can't just get a degree on a piece of paper, you actually have to have some backing behind it, some experience. So what else could we do? Well, it's one of the most isolated, mentally and physically challenging challenges out there, and I heard about it, and it was a dream that I just couldn't really shake, so I decided to get Adam on board and take part as a pair, and we've called ourselves the Emergensea Duo.
Okay, it's a perfect name given what you find yourselves doing on a daily basis. How long do you think it will take you?
So we've set ourselves a target of beating the mixed pair world record, which currently stands at 43 days. Quite tempting that overall the mixed team record, which is a team of 4, is only a day quicker at 42 days. So it would be absolutely amazing to come in at 41 days.
Okay. And are you feeling ready to go? Like how far off being like, this is it, now we're ready to go, let's do this, we're going to do this? How far off?
Working in a pandemic is an ultra endurance event in itself for everybody. So from that side of things, it's been testing for all, hasn't it? And from a physical point of view, we've got a couple of coaches on board. I'll let you talk about that side of things.
Yes, I think it has been a steep learning curve, especially having not come from rowing backgrounds. So we've certainly been helped by a number of people. So we've got an ocean rowing coach called Duncan Roy, who's been amazing. And then we're working with a personal trainer called Gus, Ocean Ready. And I think we've both got very different programs. I'm not particularly flexible, and Charlie's working a lot on strength because she's already quite flexible. So we're both approaching it from a very different starting point, and so have a very different approach to our initial workouts.
Yeah, fantastic. And so how do people get behind you? How do we find out about the journey and from start to completion? How do we follow you and how do we get involved?
So the best way to follow us is through our website, which is www.emergencyduo.com. So we've set ourselves a target of raising £100,000 for some frontline medical charities. And we wanted to support charities that represented saving lives at air, land and sea. So you can support all of our charities by going to our Virgin Money page, using an Emergensea Duo at the end. So virginmoney.com/Emergensea Duo.
Brilliant. And all those details are up on screen so that our viewers can follow those links. Thank you very much for that. So look, Charlie, Adam, it's been brilliant having you on this episode. Thank you so much. It's such an exciting challenge. We're right behind you in spirit here at Princess, the whole Princess family. Thank you very much for joining us, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for having us.
Now let's head back over to the F62, where we join Gareth Sandy giving us a tour of the engine room.
Thank you very much, Kieran. So here we are, F62 engine room, and I'm stood once again between two big V8 diesels. This particular boat's got the MAN V8 1200 horsepower option on each side, that is, along with a Volvo option, which is the D13 model delivering 1,000 horsepower on each side, and both of those setups deliver power through conventional gearbox and shaft arrangement onto 5-blade propellers. This boat's fantastic from an engineering point of view. There's great room down here for the size of boat, and again, forward of me here, you've got the sea strainers for both engines with the seacocks easy to hand, great for those daily checks in the morning before you get yourselves underway. Beneath me, under these tread plates, typical layout again, with bilge pumps and strainers for all the auxiliary equipment. Forward bulkhead, dual fuel filters that is for both engines, and then you've got the MAN engine controls for each engine on each side. Fuel tanks outboard, 3,400 litres of total capacity, delivering a range up towards 700 nautical miles at slow speed on this boat. That's with plenty of fuel to spare as well. On the aft bulkhead is where you'll find the electrical system. So you've got DC on the starboard side of this boat and AC on the port side in the typical cabinets you've seen across the range so far in the Experience series. Easy for access and maintenance on a daily basis. You've got a really good size access door. So yeah, the boat's fantastic. Delivers 30 knots capability, in excess of 30 knots with the larger engine option, and which is fantastic for all of our regions across the globe.
So the sun's starting to go down. What better time than to be joined by the one and only Howard of the Salcombe Distilling Company. Howard, welcome.
Hi, thanks very much. Lovely to be here.
Great. I mean, the sun is going down. We have got a lovely glass of something. And, you know, it's an interesting thing because you're probably no stranger to our products because you are a very keen sailor. You know, you actually took us on a little tour of the distillery earlier today. So for the benefit of those of you watching, let's take a look at that and then we'll talk to Howard a little bit more.
Hi, I'm Howard Davis, co-founder of Salcombe Distilling Company. We make the internationally award-winning Salcombe Gin and New London Light here at our distillery in Salcombe. So Angus and I met back in Salcombe years ago. There was a sailing school here called the Island Cruising Club, and in the summer holidays Angus and I were both sailing instructors at the Island Cruising Club, and that was basically how we met, teaching children to sail here on the beautiful Salcombe estuary. At the end of each day teaching sailing on the water, we'd normally retire to the yacht club where we'd enjoy a gin and tonic as the sun set, as a sundowner, and talk about the events of the day. And I really think that was kind of the seed of thought, the inspiration for what became Salcombe Gin in the future. So in the early days, Angus and I, we had a little 2.5 litre still. And so we would come into the distillery each day and distill 3, 4, or maybe even 5 different permutations of a recipe. And then at the end of each day, we'd have a blind tasting, myself and Angus. We'd decide what we liked and what we didn't like. And then we'd come in again the next day and distill another set of permutations of recipes to keep going through this iterative process. And this took us about 18 months. We also had some blind tastings with friends and family as well. And by the end of that, then we kind of got to the point where we were getting amazing feedback from other people. So this is amazing. What are you guys waiting for? You should just go into production and start selling this. And so that was what we did. And that was June 2016. So even from launch, it went amazingly better than we expected. Within 6 months, our gin had won gold at the World Gin Awards. Within 12 months, we'd won double gold at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition, which is probably the highest regarded competition in the world in spirits. And that's continued. We've won numerous awards now for all of our gins. And New London Light, our non-alcoholic spirit, is starting to win awards as well. We've got loads of really amazing product development taking place that we'll be bringing to market. So it's been massively exciting. Going forward, even more so.
So that was the Salcombe Distilling Company in Salcombe. And, you know, there's a lot that revolves around the drink. Of course, you make incredible beverages and it brings people together. It gets an opportunity to discuss and focus on the finer things in life often. One of the things that really is remarkable about both of our businesses is the view on doing right by the planet, and we feel compelled that there's something we can do. It's within our control to influence. I know that's where, you know, the conversation starts to get intertwined, because you've got a very similar focus and a very similar story, and the trajectory of where you're going is incredible. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, certainly. So the ocean is really, really important to us. Again, it stems from our roots, being involved with the water and water sports and lifestyle. And even now, our distillery in Salcombe is right by the water. In fact, it's one of the few distilleries in the world that you can reach by boat. So it's in our hearts, sustainability and the oceans. So just like yourselves, we've worked with the Marine Conservation Society in the past. We did a nice little project with them about a year ago, where we were making a contribution from every bottle of gin we sold to the Marine Conservation Society. And in fact, we're just in talks with them at the moment about maybe doing another project with them around their seagrass preservation campaign later on this year. Plastics also is a massive issue. We took a long, hard look at all of our plastics, or any plastics, I should say, that we use in our packaging, going back again about 2 years ago this is, and actually stripped out plastic in any way that we package our goods when we send it. So then we entered into a collaboration with one of our suppliers and tried to design a bespoke cardboard recyclable packaging that would protect the bottle through the rigours and trials of going through couriers to protect it. So we launched that, I don't know, 2 years ago, completely phased out any use of that inflatable plastic packaging. Any other packaging we use in terms of wraps and other cushioning within our packs, it's all biodegradable. So that's something we're really proud of. We just completely removed that.
And you've got a really impressive refilling proposition as well, don't you? So.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So that's probably going back about a year we launched our bottle refill scheme, because recycling is a really important part of sustainability, but even better is reuse. And it's such a simple concept. So we simply launched a scheme whereby anybody who's had a bottle of Salcombe gin can bring an empty bottle back to our distillery and we'll refill it at a greatly discounted price, just reusing exactly the same bottle. Really simple.
What can you tell us a little bit about your industry specifically, about your drinks, and what's the future look like for Salcombe?
So then going forward for us, really I say there's 2 or 3 key angles. One is we love innovation. We love creating new spirits, new beverages. So there's other types of gin that we've been bringing out. And then more recently, back in September last year, we entered the non-alcoholic spirit market. We launched a product called New London Light. This is a really fascinating area for us, again, and it sort of ties into mindfulness and health and well-being, in that, you know, we're all trying to moderate how we live. So New London Light, we thought we could set a new bar really in the non-alcoholic spirit sector to just how good a non-alcoholic spirit can taste. So that was a hugely successful launch for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. It's such an interesting growth sector as well, isn't it? I mean, there is this real focus, this ethical charged consumer group out there that are looking at all of these things and understanding that sometimes the best things are enjoyed in moderation as well. So, Howard, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here and to be aboard an F62 together with you with the gin in hand as well. Well, cheers.
Yeah, indeed. Cheers.
Thank you once again for being with us.
Good man.
So thank you for joining us in this episode of The Princess Experience. As always, we want to hear from you. The way in which you can get in touch is in the video description below. If you'd like to suggest some topics or areas that we can uncover in further episodes of the series, we're happy to have a look at that. And now we're going to join Ross for one final time aboard the F62. See you in the next episode.
Here we are on the Flybridge of the F62, and as you can see, it's a beautifully laid out place to be. From the aft section, underneath a retractable sun awning that you can have that fully retracts into that hard top, should you spec it, you have a sun pad. That sun pad is fully extendable, so the backrest moves forward and aft, so you can increase the space of the sun pad or your seating area. And that seating area is large. You can get a good number of people up here in comfort, and you've got a large dining table featuring the standard fold-out leaves that we do. Opposite side of that, you've got the wet bar, barbecue, drop-in fridge, and plenty of storage area underneath. Now this boat is fitted with the allure packs. There's a bit more painted surfaces, including the wet bar, the helm, and of course the hardtop sections. So those legs are grey. The hardtop can come as with an opening section or as this solid section, as you can see here, or of course you can have the radar arch with the manual or the hydraulic bimini. As I take one step forward, got a lovely seating area over here, so circular seating really adds a bit of a feature. That's an up-down table that you can choose should you want to, and that turns out into a lovely day bed. And then on the opposite side, where the business happens, the helm position. Typical Princess, everything's laid out just where you need it. Fully adjustable helm chair, fully adjustable steering wheel, and of course you've got a navigator next to you who can get in and out of their seat without disturbing your driving. Good visibility both forward and aft, and of course over the side should you be coming. I think you agree, the F62 is a tremendous boat in all areas, whether it's the lower accommodation, that main saloon, or indeed up here on the Flybridge. And it really should be on your list of 60-foot sports cruisers.